And welcome back. I'm Mike with the Turntable Teachers, and class is back in session. Here for another guest speaker episode at AOA Studios. If you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator of any kind, be sure to check us out at aoastudios.org to book your session or service today. Located up on the North Shore of Massachusetts in the Cumming Center, Beverly. So make sure you guys check us out. And to almost close out the end of the year, this potentially is our last episode before 2025 ends. And great way to end it with an artist that I've just recently been introduced to, more so at the beginning of this year, and a man who manages him, who I've been hip to for a while. Has been a huge supporter of what we do. They're both members of EV, which has been one of the more budding up and coming collectives in the scene right now, especially in the hip hop scene out here. The guy all the way to my right just dropped an absolutely dope project with the man, the myth, the legend, Edo G. Cannot wait to talk about that. And we got plenty to talk about both these guys, both talented, both hungry, dedicated to the music industry out here in Boston, and really adding a lot to the culture, which I know Ty is big on.
Yeah, of course.
This is, of course, none other than Ty Boogie and MaceyOMaze. Welcome, gentlemen, to the Turntable Teachers. It's been a while. Ty has been knocking on my door for a while, and I've said, Ty, we will make it happen.
Everything happens for a reason, man. Everything happens. You know,
everything in due time.
In due time.
In due time. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. And
man, it's been amazing to witness the movement that EV has become, and I feel like you've been at the forefront of it in a lot of ways, and I'm excited to talk to you, and I really appreciate everything and enjoy a lot of the art you're making. So
thank you so much, man. That means a lot to me, bro, for real. But yeah, man, it's crazy, you know. Just as far as we've been going with this, it's just like amazing. We can swear out here.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Fuck yeah.
All right, cool. Just wanted to make sure I've been doing a lot of radio interviews.
No, I feel that. No radio, no sponsor.
Facts. Okay,
that's telling us no. At least right now. Hey, anyone wants to sponsor the show, be my guest. Shoot. Tell us we can't swear, pay me. I'll fucking do it. I won't swear.
I won't fuck up the bag, you know?
You're not fucking anything up, Macey.
Nah,
Go for it.
But yeah, man, it's just like all that, like with all this shit we've been doing, man, it's just like crazy to see how far we've been coming with it. We've been with each other since like 2022, you know, 2021. So it's like, you know, throughout all these years, we still like arm in arm, like brothers in arm for real. So it's just like amazing to see how far we've come. Cause like before I was here, I couldn't see myself having a whole album with Edo G, having like already a couple projects under my belt, you know? And a lot of people, like, I be seeing comments, they be like, when they hear a song of mine, they be like, yo, check out the rest of his catalog. I'm like, yo, oh shoot, people know. People know about the music.
They're paying attention.
Yeah.
Because you guys are worth paying attention to.
Thank you.
You guys have, paved the way. Well, I think it's funny. Like, there's been other collectives out of Massachusetts that I feel like have paved the way in a lot of ways for, like, they've sort of walked so you guys could run, so to speak.
For sure.
Like Van Buren comes to mind.
Of course,
really quickly, right?
Van Buren, absolutely.
They totally are guys that paved the way for this, set the culture.
They be showing mad love too, man. Shout out Felix. We actually opened up for him when he came back to Boston.
Yeah,
it was
right off.
Oh, came back to Brockton. It was this video game lounge out there. It was dope, man.
As soon as he got off with the big feature with Brett Fires and Tommy Richmond, like we got the call, and then we all in Brockton, just having a good time with it,
For sure.
VB always showed us love, and just even talking about the foundation of groups, this all started with, Gangstar, like Big Suge, like R.I.P. Guru, and then Edo G and the Bulldogs for sure, Just a lot of legendary groups that came out here, like Bobby Brown and New Edition,
And then, like, if we just talking music in general, like, we have, like, Donna Summers from Mission Hill. Like, that's right there. That's Roxbury Crossing. So, like, it's always been within, New England to have that type of talent. It's just, like, now it's happening more often because like more people have access to show their talent with the internet and everything.
Yeah. You're seeing, like what I've realized, right? So I've been in this for roughly about 5 years now, and I felt like it was budding, at that time. And now, like fast forward to 2025, I'm almost in 2026. It's feeling though that the community, the culture is starting to sort of right itself, and everybody is contributing in a way. Like you're even seeing artists like on the caliber of someone like a Token, for example, who has decided to stay in Massachusetts. And like, I know he's traveled and he's been a couple different places and he's lived other places, but that's just an example of somebody I feel like that
for sure
has, I don't want to say made it, but has certainly.
He's definitely like acquired a strong fan base and following. Like,
very accomplished. I'll put it that way.
Very accomplished.
But still, even someone like Felix, right, still finds his way back here. Millie's, right, like and this is just name a few people, but there's still a stronghold of artists that are starting to really bud. But I mean, I even just saw Key was just opening up for Rico Nasty.
The Blair Bitch event, man.
And then she's still gonna open up for Anicia City Hall. October 31st.
Yeah, so this will be past. This will be out after that. But like this episode. But no, like the point being is like people are doing cool shit here, and like it's really cool to see people kind of rally around that. And what people are doing, and that people are more like embedded in the community now, and kind of create these spaces for all of us to thrive. I think the Boston media scene is in a great place, right? I mean, there's a number of excellent podcasts out here that, besides myself, that are
bad for the community. Other, who else? Duverdome.
They haven't had the pod in a while, but I think they're trying to return it. Obviously, we get to say that across from the room currently, right? I'm a little biased on that front.
Yeah, and then High Street.
High Street, of course.
Big up High Street.
Boston's Big Four. C-Dub. Like there's so many people that are adding to the culture, and in a way that I think is has been it's been a beautiful thing to witness, and to see everybody sort of be able to coexist and create this ecosystem. It's been really cool, and I love it. Even back to the groups, I was last week was at the Still Gold album listening party. They got a brand new album that probably will be out around the time that this episode drops. And even for them to see the longevity they've had, like someone like Mo Pope, who's been in the game for 20 some odd years, and Ark, who is just a staple as an engineer, producer.
Speaking of Mo Pope, man, it's crazy. I went to Emerson for a little bit. I took this course, right? And the professor, it was like he let us sit in on the class, right? But he was a videographer, and he actually shot a video for Mo Pope back in the day. He showed us it in the class. I'm like, yo.
That's dope.
Yo, shout out Dr. J. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
Mo is one of my favorite people out here. Like, all those Still Gold guys, honestly. Shout out to Tim and Ark and Chris and John. Like, they all are just incredible people. But, yeah, I had Mo on the show about 2 years ago now, and that was one of my all-time favorite. No shade to anyone else that's come on the show, but, like, that was just incredible. And for him to hold what I did in high regard after the fact, and for him to have a good, experience just meant the world. Like from somebody that has, marched these streets of Boston for many different reasons, right? It's crazy, and added so much to the music culture to still be around here doing it.
And he has
the
really festival, like they got the festival.
They had the festival. I mean, dude, think about how amazing that was. Stiz, right? I know Stiz isn't here as much anymore, but like for him to come back and do that here. So I think it's just a testament, right? Like it's a great thing that I say all this to say that it's beautiful to see the Boston community, the Massachusetts community. I'd say Massachusetts community more so than Boston. Because there's such a fresh ecosystem is thriving.
I'd even say New England, like as a whole.
New England, I had Annoyed on here about a year ago. That was a phenomenal time to have him on. Mari from 99 Neighbors. I know you guys are familiar with those guys too.
Yeah, we met them
recently. Yeah, you guys met them in Burlington.
With Nasty and Conflict. Shout out the legends for real. You know?
I mean, there's a million other names we're not naming either, right?
And
we're just
also
name
terminology, you
Term,
know.
yep.
Big up Term.
Yep, Term's been on the show as well. Edo, obviously, we'll get to him in a few minutes, in a little
Rex,
bit.
Kills Writer's Block.
Oh, yeah.
That was an amazing album.
Big
you know,
up
shout
Rex,
out
for
Rex.
real.
You know, shout out the whole ST squad. You know, I was able to, you know, be appreciative to, you know, have relationships with Rex. You know, his wife Queen, DJ Deadeye. You know, it's really an honor to just, you know, just really learn the foundations and just like as a young cat, you know, just see like, yo, like this is all possible, and it's really all of this is in home. It's all within the community. Like they all come back. They're all still giving back, and they all still dropping knowledge to the next generation.
Facts.
So I could definitely respect and say like they definitely helped me sharpen my just like my ability as a manager for sure. That's and awesome. Just like learning like how like this is done, you know.
They've helped all of us. I mean, and even so, like I see John Glass and Term. They do like a lot of community outreach, and they teach, like they go to the schools then now and like do after school programming and classes for the kids on learning how to make. I've talked about it with Term when he was on the episode a couple, there's probably 10 episodes now. It was just really beautiful. I think it's been beautiful to see all these people give back, and like and you know, hopefully, God willing, we will all, or whatever higher power willing you believe in, we'll all do the same. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the goal, right? At the end of the day, because like what legacy do we want to leave behind?
Yeah,
and I think
it's all for those. You got to pass it down to those who come after you, because they're the future. You know. Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Because one thing about me, I'm really big on just like in this industry, I noticed like within like I only been in this industry for 3 years, but I picked up a lot of like moving pieces and just how people operate. Like I'm just within this space to bring intention, bring value, and just help any way I can, because within this industry, a lot of people just like, how could I use this guy, or just how could I take or just use their just like their hype or their leverage, and you know, to make it about them. Nah, I'm just about just how can we help each other, you know, because I feel like people don't really come from that standpoint, because you know, I'm just like, yo, like you help me, I rock with you, you rock with me, how could we be bigger than this, because it's better, because we all are stronger united than divided, you know? So that's just how I am.
I love it,
you know.
Well, this has been a great conversation already, and I don't want to deviate from it, but I like to stay on my P's and Q's here. So, of course, we got to start with the objective. You kind of, this is like actually a good segue, because you had said you've been in it for about 3 years now. And so the objective is a segment of the show where we get to know a little bit about you guys and your background. So my biggest question for both of you to start off with is sort of the relationship and how it became to be with not only between yourselves, but EV as a whole, sort of the inception of it.
Okay.
And then also within, and then individually though, I'd love for you to add in like, you know, Macey, like what about, I know music's been in your blood and been in something so important to you for so long in your life, but what was the moment or the precipice that sort of enticed you to want to get an AT 2020 and start recording? And then for you, Ty, like what was it about the managerial side, the business side, that made it something you wanted to pursue? So I don't know who wants to start, but go ahead.
So before I was rapping, I was breakdancing. You know, I was a breakdancer.
You stole one of my questions later. That's okay. That's all right. Keep going.
But I didn't start rapping until I was 12. Around the same time, I was also living in a shelter with my folks in Bedford. This was in this is what I talked about in Like Magic.
Yeah.
You know? Talking about living in a homeless shelter for a little bit and like discovering like how hip hop can be used as a voice through NWA. Cause this is around the time that the Straight Outta Compton movie came out.
Great film.
You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't see it because it was rated R and I was broke.
Yeah.
But you know, I saw the trailer.
You're aging me, but okay.
I saw the trailer.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is fire. So I asked my mom to use her phone, and I started watching all the documentaries and like all the fuck the police and all that. And once I heard that joint, I was like, whoa, this is like, I didn't know like rap could be used that powerfully. You know what I'm saying? To like speak up or like speak your truth, speak your story like that. So I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. You know, hip hop, you know, it came from oppression. You know, it was born in the South Bronx when it was burning, it was on fire. So it was like, you know, for something so beautiful to come out of that, you know, I think it shows the resilience of like where it comes from, you know, and the people who created it.
I feel like there's so many examples of that in, I guess, not only the Black struggle, but just in terms of art itself, like what art has been created from the struggles, right?
Exactly.
So like Langston Hughes and the Harlem Renaissance, for example, right, being another one. Blues music coming, you know, being really a focal point after obviously the Depression and obviously the Civil Rights Act and all that sort of stuff. Like my dates are obviously a little off. I'm not like completely, don't quote me as being a historian. But my point being is like, you know, culturally speaking, there's been so many beautiful moments coming out of these struggles. And it's not to minimize those struggles, because those struggles are incredibly real, right? But again, we can be objective and look at sort of both angles of it and see the beautiful art that has like come from it. And again, not to say that we wouldn't want, if we could erase these struggles, we would, but like maybe the art goes with it, and not justifying anything, but I just feel as though like it's important to recognize that. And so I'm glad you brought these things up, because it's super important to like remember the roots and where these can come from, and sort of, you know, and calling out people that become culture vultures. Like I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm some, you know, hip hop historian or anything like that. I love the art form. I love, like you said, I love how it stands for something, right? But I recognize that I am a guest within it. You know what I mean? And I've been a welcomed guest, and I appreciate that. But it is not my home. So I am to treat it with respect. And no, it's just real, though. You know what I mean?
No,
it's
of
just,
course.
You know,
Appreciate that.
So,
For sure. And that's, you know, it's real when you hear somebody like that say that, for sure, bro. Because, like, a lot of folks, they try to, like, pry and, like, do all that slick shit, you know? But that's real.
It's easy to look, to see through that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and what, like, you're in it for, you know? No, I just think it's a beautiful art form, and I've been a fan of it since I was a kid. And, you know, I can't say I understood it at that age, but now being 31 years old, almost 32 years old now, like, I sort of have, it's been now, like, this, the acquisition has been different in my adult life of like, oh, okay, like looking back at the history of all the NWA thing, like that movie, like almost really rocked me. Yeah. And then
me too, and I didn't see it.
So you didn't even see it?
I didn't see it until I was
You're
like
too
20.
young. But no, I'm so glad you brought that up. So like when did you pick up a microphone?
The first time I picked up a mic, I didn't get my microphone until I was like 17 or like 16 actually. When I was going to the Mattapan Teen Center, that was the first like official studio I ever went to, which is crazy. But before then, like I was recording stuff off the SoundCloud app, because they used to have a built-in recorder back in like 2016. I was in 7th grade around the time, so like I was recording off like the little headphones.
Hey, back in 2016, I'm like, bro, I was graduating college. Fuck off.
Hey, it's gonna happen to all of us one day.
I know. I'm messing.
Yeah, but I had the little headphone with the mic, and I was in my closet trying to record on BandLab. That's where like I started.
BandLab, yeah.
And like back then, it was like they got more stuff now, so it's like way better. But back then, like I was using it just to record, because like it was the best like app to record verses on, and I was putting little stuff out on SoundCloud or whatever, and then
you're good.
Yeah, all right, word. And then freaking I didn't get my first like home setup until I went to the Mattapan Teen Center. Right, I recorded there, and then I met this dude. Shout out Mike Dot. He was like interning over there from Berkeley, and we chopped it up. We made a couple songs, and like one day he was like, "Yo, man, I got this old laptop from 2012. This old MacBook. It got Ableton, Logic, everything. It's all on there." I'm like, "Word?" He's like, "Yeah, you want it?" I'm like, "For sure." He's like, "It's really old, and you know, it's a little," but I'm like, "Shoot, I'll make it work." And I did, and he gave me not only the laptop but my interface, my mic. He gave me a MPK MIDI, like the Akai MIDI controller and whatnot. And I was like, "Yo, that's crazy." He literally gave me the whole setup. Like I still use that interface to this day, you know. And then the AT20
out for you, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Like, bro, that's why I got to say, shout out Mike Dot, for real. That's beautiful. Like, he gave me everything I needed right there, you know? And then the microphone, right? I let my brother Ajari get that because he didn't have one at the time. And, you know, now he's putting out some amazing music too. So it's like, yo, like when something's given to you, you give it. And then, like, it comes back around, just like the beauty, you know, within that.
Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful story. I'm so glad that somebody did that, like gave you the canvas and allowed you to paint over it, essentially. Yeah. And you've been doing that. No, that's fantastic. I love that.
The laptop don't work no more.
Oh, God. But I'd be surprised if it did. But that's
it's something with the RAM. I gotta get, you know, I'll figure that out.
But Ty, what about you in terms of like stepping into a managerial role, and also just like how you sort of got yourself acquainted with MaceyOMaze, you know, Ajari, Jasiel, all the people that are involved in EV.
Honestly, like it's funny. Like for starters, you know, I have like a musical background. My mom and my aunt, you know, they were like singers back in the day. They had their own group and everything. They would perform locally. And then, you know, my grandfather, you know, his name is Colin. He lived in Trinidad, you know, born in Trinidad, and then came here, and he was part of a band, you know, performed everywhere. So I always had like a musical background in my family, you know, but I wasn't really like, obviously I couldn't rap, you know, I couldn't produce. So I'm just like, okay, I know the industry, I know the ins and outs, and just, you know, someone that also put me onto game is like my brother. His name is Keenan Cooks. He is one of the biggest dance choreographers out here. He went on tour with like Cardi B, Chris Brown, like Rihanna, J Belvin, like the list goes on. And he was the one that really put me on to game of like the ins and outs of the industry, like, yo, how to protect yourself with contracts, how to like reach out to like agencies when you want a sync deal. He put me on to everything, for real. And even just like on the managerial side, like how to really like make sure you're not getting like finessed, for real. So big up to my brother, for real, Keenan Cooks. So yeah. And how I got acquainted with Maceo, you know, my cousin, Anti the artist.
Shout
you know,
out Anti the artist. That's my day one right there, for sure.
They knew each other since like what, 2018?
Since the Mattapan Teen Center.
We met there. Like 2018, 2019, right?
Mm-hmm. Shout out to the Mattapan Teen
right? Yo, for real. Shout out Rick. Shout out Ron. Shout out Exo Shakeem, who actually brought me there. That's my dog. That's
why these spaces are so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
That's why we gotta fund them.
For real.
Not talking to anybody specifically. But seriously, thank you, Mayor Wu, for funding these spaces.
Yeah, no, of course. Shout out.
Anybody federally want to listen to this can jump on that too. But
you know?
Not just in Massachusetts, everywhere.
Yeah,
there's so many kids like yourself, probably, right? That I mean, it changed your life.
It did.
It literally changed the trajectory of your entire life.
Literally that, because like I met his cousin, who's my dog, there, and then I met him later on.
Yeah, it's like 3 years later. So it was just, you know, during the pandemic, I feel like all of us was really going through like our just knowing ourselves, for real, because, you know, pandemic was really a tough time for all of us, you know, and there's a lot of people that still haven't recovered financially, even within like companies or just even within like certain like mentals. Like I still have friends, you know, that are still like processing like what happened during the pandemic, and then, you know, everything else that's going into, you know, within right now with like
folks missed their whole prom. Like, folks didn't get a prom because of that. That's crazy.
You guys were kids. You know, I mean, I was an adult, so it was a little different. But yeah, I mean, I can't even fathom what it would have been like to. I mean, kids missed out there on their graduations, like proms, right? Like,
a lot of my upperclassmen definitely, you know.
Yeah, but
it's sad. It's sad.
And this is the day where everything like changed. Like I was in North Carolina for Thanksgiving, you know. My dad's side of the family, me and Anti's dad, well, our dad's side of the family, you know, they're from North Carolina, you know, Lewisburg to be specific. And we go there every year, you know, to celebrate, you know, my great grandfather, you know, God rest his soul. He passed away last year. So rest in peace to him. We were just like hanging out at that time, you know, and just like just vibing, just listening to music. And then my cousin, I don't know what sparked that conversation. We were just randomly just listening to music, and he was like, yo, I want to introduce you to one of my boys. And it was Macey.
Yeah.
And at that time, I think he was like, what? You were like 18, 19?
Yeah, I think 17 maybe. Like late. I was like 17, about to turn 18.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And it was, I think it was, it was What's Happening. It was off of SoundCloud. Because at
What's Happening? Nah, that didn't drop yet.
No, not What's Happening.
Kickback. Kickback was out on SoundCloud then.
It wasn't that song. I'm trying to remember.
It was probably something off the Rough Cut.
Yeah, it was definitely The Neighborhood. The Neighborhood. Yeah, he played The Neighborhood.
The original one.
The original Neighborhood that eventually went into the remix. But he played it, and I'm like, oh, this guy, this guy's tough. And I'm like, this is like some Joey Badass, like Big L, type of vibes. And he was like, yeah, that's my boy Macey. And I'm like, okay, word. And then a few months went by,
I still remember his cousin telling me about that when he played him the joint. He's like, yo, I was playing my cousin your music. Like, I remember him telling me that.
Yeah. And then crazy. And then a few months go by, the summer of 2022. And we went to go, because, there was other times when we were trying to hang out, and then it just didn't happen. And magically, I'm glad, everything happens for a reason. This was the day where my whole perspective of like the music industry, just like within Boston, like really just like elevated. Because don't get me wrong, growing up, I know about Stiz, I knew about Hefe Replay, I knew of Rest in Peace, I knew Vintage Lee, because and Michael Christmas, of course, through high school, all word goes spreads, and they're like, oh, okay, these are the guys, and I'm just bumping Stiz, Suffolk County, Mondo, and just What a Weird Day by Michael Christmas. I was listening to all of that, and those at that time, I knew that they were from the city, but I didn't know anything else. But years go by after that experience, that day in the summertime, we went to the black market.
Yeah.
And this is where it all changed. Summer 2022, Edo G and KRS-One was at a black market event, and the rest was history, The rest was history. Then I met Najee Janey for the first time.
Big shout out to Najee Janey.
Yeah, and then
Facts.
Now we're here.
Turntable Teachers alumni is what I like to say. You're alumni if you've been on the show.
Yeah,
so Najee is definitely an alum.
Facts.
And that experience, just like seeing like KRS-One in person, I'm just like, wow.
Nah, that was crazy for me too.
That's crazy. And then obviously talking to Edo, like I was familiar with Edo, but I didn't really like listen to his music. My mom, like, and my uncles, they grew up around Edo's people, so they put me on to like Gangstar and all of that. But I wasn't really like tapping in like that. But eventually I started listening. But I'm just like, oh wow, these Edo G's from Roxbury, and we all, me, my cousin, and Macey, we were all there, and we were the only young cats there too. At that time, I was like, how old? I was like 4 years.
We were definitely the youngest people there.
Yeah. I was like 27. I was like 23, 24, somewhere around there.
I was 18 around
there. Yeah, 18, 19, somewhere. Yeah, so, and then, Edo saw that. He's like, yo, he instantly like gravitated towards us. He's like, yo, like I mess with y'all, like I'm glad that you guys had a good time, let's stay in touch. And then gave us his number, and then
perfect segue, Ty. Yeah. Well done. It's almost like you knew where I was going. This is the main lesson of the episode where we talk about what you got going on now. We gotta talk about this project. See you in Boston.
Yeah.
Right? We're here. We've been talking about a lot of great things already, but we're here to talk about the project.
Yeah.
For sure.
We'll talk about a few other things, but certainly the project. Yeah. That's the main focal point.
Facts.
So you just told me about the time you guys met. Love that. Mm-hmm. You stayed in touch. How did the project sort of from there start to develop in that relationship as well with Edo on your side? I heard a cool thing that he made a lot of these beats off his phone.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he made all of them. He produced the whole album.
Oh, yeah. So for anyone that's not understanding what I'm saying, so MaceyOMaze has a joint collaborative project with Edo G. Edo G has produced.
I should have brought a CD. I would have gave you. I should have gave you.
Hey, I would have gladly had it in here.
Hey,
it's
we'll
all
see
right.
each other.
I'll see you again.
Yo.
I'll see you. This isn't gonna be the last time.
And I'll hand you a CU in Boston.
Yeah.
I like that. But yeah, anyone that's listening doesn't understand the context. MaceyOMaze project, joint collaborative project with Edo G. Edo G production on the entire thing. Yeah. Vocals by MaceyOMaze on the whole thing called "See You in Boston." It's gonna be linked in the description. Make sure you guys check it out after the episode. At the conclusion of this episode, we've got plenty left with these guys. But at the conclusion of the episode, so that is there for you guys. Great project, great body of work. I'm thoroughly impressed with it.
Thank you.
Old school, but
fresh.
Yeah.
You know,
you breathe a breath of fresh air, fresh life into it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That young energy that you have, but still, I felt like it had a lot of that classic component to it.
Definitely.
So tell me a little bit about that. Like, and then he produced all these on his phone. So cool. Didn't know that until today or yesterday, I think, when I found that out. And tell me a little bit about that relationship, how that sort of grew, and then of course how the project came to be.
So we all met the first day at Black Market. That was the first time I met him as well. So like, not only was I meeting Edo for the first time, but I met him. It was crazy. But then after that, we tapped in. During the discussion there, I was like, yo, man, I'm an artist myself, man. My pops put me on to you. I've been a fan since forever, because this is around the same time, like a couple months after I started rapping is when I first heard I got to have it, which is crazy. I was like, yo.
Yeah.
This dude was because he said, I'm from Roxbury, the berry, but not the fruit. So I'm like, yo. Yeah. I'm like, he's right there. Like, I was from Dorchester, but like, Boston, like that's Roxbury. I love Roxbury for sure. But like, yo, just like meeting him then, I told him, I'm like, yo, I'm an artist. I do mostly like boom bap style stuff. He's like, oh, word, if you do boom bap, we definitely gonna get some work in. So, followed us on Insta, and then I dropped a couple reels, and he like, that's when we got the phone number. Yeah. And then from then, it was like a couple weeks after that, I was at Ajari's crib. We was recording something, right? And I got a phone call from Ty. Yeah. And then Edo was on the line. He was like, yo, man, I really want to get this project with you. What is like, we could do like an EP or something. I'm like, yeah, let's do an EP. And it became an album eventually, but it was originally supposed to be an EP. And then like, but after the phone call, my boy Jari was like, yo, man, you could do, this is Edo G you're working with, bro. Yeah. Like, you sure you just want to do like 5 songs? I'm like, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. That's a great question. So it's like from there, we scheduled like a time where he could play me some beats. He played them for me like over Zoom. And like how it was, he played like these like 12-second, 11-second just loops of like what he made. And I was like, yo, I like that one. I wrote it down. And then, like, after the meeting, I sent him the list. And then he'd send me those beats. And then, like, I asked for the stems. I'd, like, fully arrange them out. I did some co-production on there. Like, for Soul Child, I added the strings and bass. Because I produce as well.
Right,
But, yeah, like, for songs like Live from the Source, that's just how he made it. I just added the scratches. But, yeah.
Super cool. So and I want to talk a little bit about the music video, Father Child, and how, like, this all feels like it was so full circle for you. I'm really curious about, I mean, that video is fantastic, by the way.
Yo, shout out BTO, Beat the Odds. We just had the Mass Summit too.
I know I was away that weekend for a wedding and I couldn't cope, but I did see it. Big shout out to everybody over there.
Shout out Gio, shout out Louis. Gio's the one who shot it. Giovanni Films, aka G Montana. He was a artist too back in like the late or early 2010s. He was dope. But he shot the video and then Louis edited it.
Really cool.
Big ups.
So like, what was that like for even your dad too, to like have that experience? Like, he's showing you Edo G's music as a kid, and now like you're in a position where you're creating this project with him. You're on a video set with him. Yeah. And your dad was in it, right?
Yeah,
in the video. That was literally him in the video.
Yeah.
So like, what has that been like with the aftermath and sort of just like the reception you've gotten from that moment from some like, from your father who like, I mean, that song must be so important to him and so beautiful for him. And what a moment.
I actually, there's a video I posted when I first made the song, and I showed it to him on Father's Day last year, because that's when the song like was finished. And then like, all right, bet, because I had to at least create it and have it ready, because I wanted him to hear it first. You know, that was a present for him specifically when I first made it. And then like when releasing it, I wanted to make sure it was like, okay, now this is for all fathers. This is something that like not just for my pops now, it's for all fathers who are like my pop, who like are down and like from like the bottom of their heart for real really do love their children, you know? And like my pops, he couldn't be any prouder really, you know? His reaction when he first heard it, he was just like, yo. Like he couldn't even say anything at first. But yeah, man, I remember shooting that video. Like we was definitely both like watered eye, you know. And all
that
that.
played well for the video, I would imagine, right? You didn't have to do much acting at that point.
Nah, you know. And then like
really cool.
to do that was awesome. And then like we shot it in 3 different days. So it was like the first shoot we had was with me and Edo on like the stoop. You know, he pulled up on his motorcycle and whatnot. And then he was just like, all right, we got a couple shots in on the stoop. And then the second shoot was the scene with me and my father in the space where we was like watching Edo on the TV. And then we was talking as well. That part right there, that was shot. That was the second shoot. And then the last one was the photo shoot thing that we did for the rest of the fathers. And that's what really like made that message more clear, that this isn't just for my pops, you know?
Yeah, nah, shout out to all the fathers in the music video. You know, shout out to my boy Cash.
Shout out Cash.
You know, shout out Ben.
Shout out Ben Carew.
Yeah, nah.
And Louis was the other person. He was actually the one who edited it and like everything. So he was in there too, because you know, his kids be in the spot at Beat Thoughts all the time. So, you know, I'm like, yeah, we gotta have that in there.
Wow, what a special moment that you were able to have with your dad. But I love the mentality of trying to make it. Not trying, you did. I mean, you didn't try, you did it.
Thank you.
You made it bigger than yourself, and that's honestly all. Like we talked about earlier, right? Whatever we can do to make what we do bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
It holds that legacy, right? Like you and your father will always have that moment.
Exactly.
This thing to look back on.
Yeah, and I could show my kids that and be like, yo, this is your grandfather right here.
Yeah.
Man,
but any father,
exactly.
right, for that matter, can kind of take that and take their own, or it's father-son relationship, can hear that song, see that video, and get their own sort of spin from it.
Facts.
Or take, like, based on their own sort of experience with their own father, or whatever that is. So, like, you know, I think
it's even more of a full circle moment because, like, you know, a song's called Father to Child after Edo G's Be a Father to Your Child, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
it couldn't be any more perfect.
Exactly.
And like, oh, go ahead, Ty, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. And that's like the song that really, like, obviously you have I Got to Have It. And that song was big, but Be a Father to Your Child, didn't that song also charted on the billboards too?
I think so.
Yeah, he had that song charted too, like on the actual billboard. So you know, Edo was really like the first rapper to really just chart on the billboards and just talk about
LL Cool J off the thing for a little bit. Where I Got to Have It. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, and just like being like positive, you know, because that's like really different within hip hop because it's all just like all negativity, violence, but
and that's like multiple forms of media too, because negativity sells a lot of the time, and that's like
but
that's on my cart window. So like when making this album too, I wanted it to be more like wholesome, wanted it to be more positive, you know.
You definitely get that.
Yeah, but like I didn't want it to be corny, and it definitely wasn't that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It felt very authentic. It felt very true to you.
Yeah.
It did not feel forced in any which way possible. And I agree with you though, because those types of things can sometimes come off in that way. And I would be honest with you, I wouldn't have probably had you on here if I thought that. I genuinely,
I respect that.
No, it's the truth. Like if I didn't fuck with it, I wouldn't have you on. But for me, it's like that authenticity definitely is. You can hear it. It's leaps and bounds. There's no part of it to me that felt forced or felt in any which way corny, as you say, right? Because I hear you. There is a fine line there that you don't want to cross into. But back to your point though too about the positivity piece, like it has that old school feel to it. Not just the song, but the whole project. But it is rooted in positivity.
Yeah.
You have a light. I mean, you both of you, but I feel like Evie as a whole, like. But now just sitting here, you two are the only one I've really sat down and talked with. there is a light to you. There's a light to your music. I see it in you as a person. It feels, now it's all starting to make sense for me because we've never really truly met. I've seen you out and about, but I've never really met you in person.
Yeah, we never like chopped it up.
Chopped it up. I've seen you with a camera in your hands at some different events and things like that. Right? You're a multimedia creative.
Well, actually, I don't usually hold the camera. I might have been holding that for somebody.
Oh, maybe you're holding it for somebody else. Fair enough. Then. Either way, though, my point being is like, you know, I felt the positivity of the project, and that's I think one of the biggest things of my appreciation from it is it gave that old school feel. It's part of the reason why I really enjoyed 1999, for example. Like I enjoy like an old Joey Badass project, right? Where it's like it was rooted in that. Oh yeah, fucking classic. Rooted in that, but like a little bit more of a positive sort of spin on it. Not maybe positive.
It was rooted in like where he's from in Brooklyn, like in terms of the hip hop that was traditionally made out there. Like it's traditional hip hop, but it was representative of the time he came from. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
Like, it didn't feel negative. I'll put it that way. It didn't feel like this sort
like
of
with songs like Waves. Like come on, you know that was the joint.
And even just records, even just like Father or Child, Milestones. The last record, Milestones, just talking about a triumphant. Like obstacles and talking about I'll always be on top, and no matter my last breath, I will not be defeated. Like that's just a very powerful message in and or itself, because especially just being like a person of color, you know, like we are forever oppressed and we go through so much on a daily, and just having records like that just like when I listened to Milestones, I cried. I'll admit that. Like I'm just like, yo, I told Macey, I'm like, bro, this was before it released. I'm like, yo, this record made me cry, bro. There's not a lot of records that can make me cry for real. I'm just like,
that was actually the first beat that I got from Edo, which is dope. So it's like the last song on the album, but that second verse I actually wrote when I was 17. Yeah. Wow. And I'm like, word, I didn't do anything with it. It was just like, because the way I write verses sometimes, it's just like, I don't even have a beat or nothing. I'm just sitting down. I'm like walking somewhere. I'm on the bus or something. And then I just think of some rhymes sometimes. And it's like, okay. And I got to find a beat for it. And like, it took me a couple years to find a beat for that verse. But, you know, Edo delivered it from the phone.
Yeah. And so again, I thank both of you. Your commentary has been, it's very refreshing, and I love it from a maturity standpoint at the ages that you guys are at, being a little younger on the side of that. Like that is also a beautiful thing as well. And too, like there's a stat out there that it's more in terms of content, but a negative piece of content will oftentimes get 6 times more engagement than a positive one.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it is in such a way, like if you, and it's funny that we were all here because my whole mantra is education, learning, positivity, right? Like we have some fun here
Turntable
too.
Teacher,
yeah, literally. I mean, that's my background. I was a teacher for almost a decade. Like it would be inauthentic for me to come on here and just talk drama and bullshit, right? And again, I'm not discrediting anybody that does that, whatever, but like, you know, there's a reason why I think there's my content is not like why I don't have, in my opinion, like, you know, thousands and thousands of subscribers, or why all my, you know, videos don't get, you know, don't go viral. It's like because it's more of a wholesome show. Yeah. And
it's about like what you genuinely like are interested in. Like you said, like you wouldn't have me up here if I was whack or corny or like didn't represent something that you felt was fitting for like the podcast, the
brand. And like I'm gonna stick to that because like no matter where this goes or whatever it takes, like it's for me, it's always been about the relationships. Like I don't want to say I don't care because I'd be lying if I said that I don't care. But like I've detached any expectation I have for this anymore. It's just like now it's like, you know what? Follow the brand and be true to what it was when you started, and
it's a passion project.
Yeah,
you know?
If let it evolve and let it be what it's going to be, but stay true to the authenticity of yourself and the brand and what it stands for. And you know, again, I'm not here for controversy. I'm not here for drama, and maybe that doesn't do as well numbers wise, but so be it. Like whatever. At the end of the day, like we are putting ourselves out into the world. Like this is
something that people see, and that is
the internet. The internet
forever.
It's out there now. You know what I mean? And so like every piece of content, everything you do, every tweet. It's all out there. And so like, how do I want to be representative of myself when I'm here and when I'm not? And then and that's where I sometimes just try to hang my hat. And you know what? I'm not perfect. Nobody is. Yeah. And like, we're gonna make mistakes. But like, at the end of the day, it's like you said it earlier about intention. As long as your intention's there, I feel like that's almost more than half the battle.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
So I just felt that I heard that in the music. I'm seeing it now in person. It's all starting to make a lot of sense.
Of course.
And it's authentic, and I love that. So, like I said, see you in Boston. It is linked in the description. It's out on all platforms. It's been out on all platforms. Yeah. The Father to Child music video, we also link that.
Dropped, you know what I'm saying?
We will link that in the description as well. So after this episode, not done quite with these guys quite yet. We have one of our two last segments of the show. My personal favorite. Ooh. Now we're having a little bit of fun. Not that it hasn't been fun, but we're gonna do some fun stuff. Ty knows what's going on. This is Pop Quiz.
Ooh. Okay.
Pop Quiz is a segment for anybody that's a fan of EV, MaceyOMaze, Ty Boogie, just being introduced to us for the first time. Pop Quiz is a segment where we ask our guests rapid fire questions. Some have to do with music. Some have absolutely nothing to do with music whatsoever. It's just information I found out about both of you. Okay. Nothing embarrassing, nothing incriminating.
Awesome.
Most of the time.
Word.
There's been a few moments where I got a piece of information and it was very like bland or not very vague. And it was like, ask them about this, and it ended up being they stole the thing, and I'm like, oh my god, I always say it's not incriminating, and so hopefully nothing here is incriminating. The information I've got, I don't think it is. I think we're okay. So we'll go back and forth. Each one will be tailored to each of you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ty, I'm going to start with you.
All right.
It's a kind of a two-part question.
Yes, for
First one maybe is a little bit of a rhetorical question, I guess. Do you really have an aunt and uncle in every state? And how many aunts and uncles do you have? I've heard you have like an abundance of aunts and uncles.
Honestly, it's really funny because I wouldn't say like every state, but like, because again, my family's from like, my mom's side of the family is from Barbados, and then my mom's dad's side of the family is from Trinidad. So it's like, it's cultural from the Caribbean islands, you know. I got uncles, you know, that live in like New York, you know, uncles that live in the UK, you know, cousins, you know, Barbados, you know. You could kind of say that, you know.
How many aunts and uncles do you have? Let's just put it out there.
I feel like everybody got like aunts and uncles.
Oh yeah,
everywhere.
A lot of cousins. I don't really know, and I'm just learning, you know, as we go, you know, I'm just learning like, oh, I have family like in Ireland. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm just probably never gonna meet them, but yeah, it's all in the family tree, you know. Like I couldn't really tell you, but I got a lot. I got a lot on both sides. Yep. Yeah, same like here. I got a lot. Big family.
I like that.
Big family.
All right, Maceo. Which one was more enjoyable for you, or do you get more fun out of? And you can elaborate on both or either one as much as you would like. Breakdancing or doing the pop lock? I've heard you're a pretty good dancer. Obviously, you kind of you somewhat done it a little bit on it, but I also heard you can do the pop lock pretty well too.
Yeah. I was more of a pop locker because I always saw like breakdancing like as like a part of breakdance. Pop locking is a part of breakdancing. Sure. You know, that's how I always saw it. But like it does have its own culture when you go out west. Like, they got a whole different, like, thing. But, like, yeah, you know, for me, I was always better at pop locking and, like, doing, like, the moonwalk and variations of the moonwalk. You know, the airwalk, the moonwalk in place, the moonwalk in a circle. Like, I was doing stuff like that. And then, like, oh, shit. And then, like, you know, a little bit of tutting. You know, just a little bit.
We're getting a little.
Just a little. Let me chill.
We're getting a little demonstration here. I fuck with that.
Yeah. I always got to show it off a little.
You got it, right?
You got to. Like, I could do it. You know?
We ain't fucking around here. Ty, tell me about the time you almost got stranded in New York with your cousin Anti the artist.
Oh, yo. This happened really recently. Yo, all I gotta say is like when it comes, you gotta plan accordingly.
Yeah.
So so pretty much right. You know, it was after me and my cousin. You know, we went to hang out. Just vibe and just like enjoy the scenery of like New York. And just like get away real quick. We were supposed to link with some cats, but that didn't happen. But we spin back and then meet them, and that's gonna be for later on. But we were like, yo, we're about to miss the bus. We have these electric bikes. We're not, because the last time I was in New York is when me and Evie, we all went to the United Masters headquarters. That's when we got our deal with So yeah, that was a year prior. That was the last time I went to New York, and then I was like, yo, we ain't gonna go on the MTA. We ain't going on the subway. We're just gonna be going on these electric bikes all day. So all right, our bus was about to leave at 8, and then my cousin was like, yo, cuz, where? Because every station that we go to put the electric bikes away, like, bro, they were full. And I'm like, yo, we literally went through 2 stations, and it's about to be like 7:54, 7:55. And then literally we were panicking. I'm like, yo, cuz, what are we going to do? And then we just left the bikes, and then I know there's CTV footage, and it literally shows me just like running full speed, like, just going through Chinatown and just trying to flag down the bus, and I'm like, yo, it was crazy. It was crazy. And then they try to say like 100. I had to pay like $160 something, and I got all that situated. But it was crazy because like I couldn't because if I would have left. If we would have stayed with that bike, we would miss the next bus until like 5 a.m.
Damn. You're on the streets of New York for about 9, 10 hours at that point or whatever.
Yeah, I'm crazy. That was crazy. But yeah, always plan accordingly. You feel me? And don't stay with the electric bike. Just leave it and just figure everything else after that. So yeah. Yeah.
Maceo, true or false? This is a 2-parter. True or false? Your favorite anime is Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho. Yep.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah,
Apologies for my pronunciation.
I got that on the wallpaper in my phone right here. You know what I'm saying? I got the freaking Game Boy game in my DS right now. You know what I'm saying?
How deep are these pockets?
Hey, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if the camera going to see that, but I got the video game. I picked this up in Vermont. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
I'm like, yo, they got my favorite anime on the Game Boy. Yeah. I got it.
So you still play the Game Boy, huh?
Yeah, I got the DS. It plays the Game Boy games. I was playing Super Mario 64.
Well, I've heard you're a big fan of like vintage games, right? So like, what would be your Mount Rushmore of like vintage games or of game systems? Because it seems like you like a lot of the older stuff. Older soul right here.
Yeah, actually, like have you seen my room? Like I got the old box CRT television and that's my main TV, right? And I got a VCR player. I got a collection of VHS tapes. I got the Sega Genesis. I got the PS2, and I'm trying to get an N64. But I also got a Wii right now. I just got to get some controllers and stuff for it. But in terms of my Mount Rushmore, like my favorite console has to be the PS2, right?
PS2 was goated.
Yeah.
PS2 was like, the games on the PS2 were really good. I feel like at that point it got a little whatever. I stopped at PS4. I don't even have the 5. I don't play enough. It just is not my thing. Yeah. But I think 2 felt like the pinnacle of it.
Definitely. It was because that was the biggest sales of any console ever. Mainly because it was a DVD player and it was the cheapest one at the time.
And it was the first time that it had a DVD player built into it. Yep.
Yeah. And then
I grew up in that era, so
PS1 before it was like a CD player, so you could play your music on there. So Sony has always had a good way of attaching multimedia into their consoles.
I know. I've always liked that about them.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, I gotta say the PS2.
Okay.
Number 1, right? Sega Genesis for sure.
Yep, Sega was fun.
Yeah, cause I remember I had the when I was living in Bedford actually, I had the little cheap games Sega Genesis that you could buy from freaking like CVS or Target on the good day. You find it for like $40. My grandma got that for me on Christmas, and I used to play Streets of Rage, Sonic the Hedgehog, E-SWAT. There's a whole bunch of games. Alex the Kid, all that. And then let's see one more, 2 more?
2 more.
2 more. Okay. I gotta say the Nintendo Wii.
Okay.
That was the first game console I ever owned. Actually, I remember when I first got it, my pops had it, and he already had a PS3 in his room. He had the big cable box, you know what I'm saying, and it was like a lot. The Wi-Fi box, my mom was like, "There's too much stuff in here. Put that in his room," and it became mine. It was like the all red Wii, and it had like New Super Mario Bros, all that, and I played that for a minute. I had the Michael Jackson game on there too. That was my game. That was my game. I used to play that every single day. It came with the glove. I felt like, that's how I learned how to do all the moonwalks and all that,
Yeah.
Dope.
That's fun.
And then one more, right?
Yeah, you go one more.
I'm going to say, I'm going to say, shoot. This is tough. Because there's a couple consoles. I'm going to say the GameCube.
GameCube was fun.
GameCube was awesome.
GameCube was also a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I had the GameCube for a minute.
Yeah.
It was a vibe.
I'm gotta say the GameCube because like that, it was just, I remember having one when I was really little, and then we had one again when I was living in North Carolina for a little bit. A lot of the retro stuff out there was cheap. It was crazy. But then, we had the GameCube. I remember we didn't have a memory card, so we always had to keep the game on, or we had to beat it in one day. I remember I beat Everything or Nothing, 007, Everything or Nothing in one day because I was like, there was no memory card. I was like, yo, nah, that was, I actually did that. I was like, yo.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I think you should have grown up in. You should be my age. I think the fact you still have the VHS is hilarious to me.
I was born in 03, so like,
No, I know, but like you're literally, your bedroom now is like a late 90s kid's dream.
Facts.
Like for real, bro. Like I'm not kidding, dog. Like I grew up with all that stuff. It was simpler times. Simpler times. It's funny because I've seen. I've grown up with technology in a way, you know what I mean? So like, it's really been interesting. Like, I mean, I come from the era of like, we did not have cell phones. Like, I did not have my first cell phone until I was in 8th grade. And it was.
I didn't get mine till later. I didn't get mine till like.
But the thing about it is, at least when you could get it, they were available. Yeah. That's the difference. They were barely they weren't really like as much of a thing. Like when I was in 7th, 8th grade, the first cell phone I had was a flip phone, and it was prepaid. So I had a certain amount of. This is all way before your time too, Ethan. Big shout out to Ethan behind the camera.
Yeah, prepaid phone.
Prepaid. So I had a certain amount of minutes or text messages I could send every month.
Wasn't it like free after like 10 p.m. or something?
That was a thing. Yeah. Free up to 10 p.m., but I was never up at that point. But like, and then we would come home, and our main form of communication was either calling people on the house phone or AOL Instant Messenger. Yeah. Like, seriously.
And you had to wait for the freaking the
dial-up.
That's like a meme now.
It really is. But it was real. It was a real thing. And like, imagine. and now I'm friggin', and I'm, at the point where, I'm editing 4K photo video on my MacBook Pro, and I'm like,
and you're like on the train.
And it's just such a weird like dichotomy to like live in, like, so it's really interesting.
Nah, facts. I didn't get my first cell phone until 6th grade, but I didn't get my first smartphone until like 8th grade or like 9th grade. It was crazy. Yeah, 9th grade. It was crazy. The first cell phone I had was a Chirp. Everybody, and this is the thing. Everybody had a smartphone. Everybody had their little iPhone and Samsung. I was walking around with this loud ass Chirp. And tell me why my pops, because it was like a walkie-talkie. So like you press it, right?
Oh, I remember it.
And then,
the Nextel walkie-talkie was the other one. That was like the industrial version of that. Yeah.
Yo, my pops freaking was trying to, because my older sister had one too, so he was trying to chirp her because he was about to pick her up. She got out earlier than me, but he chirped my phone instead. And it was like the last class, right? But it was like, it wasn't over yet. So it went off. And I was just like, nah, bro. I had to pull out the phone and I had to give it to the teacher in front of everybody. And it was like, yo, what is that?
What is that?
They're like, yo, this dude got the freaking...
That's so funny. Yeah. Final question for you, Ty. Who's an artist that you would like to manage if you could? Doesn't have to be from Boston necessarily or Massachusetts. Just if there's any artist, upcoming or major, that you'd like to manage, who would it be?
Damn. That's a really good question. I've been listening to like a lot of music, so it's just like, If I had to pick, right? Honestly, I've been really tapping in with like the New York scene, and just like really just like building with like a lot of cats. If I really had to, we already locked in for real, but if I had to, probably my boy Joaquin the Divine.
Cool.
You know, he's like a really fire like cat from Long Island. You know, Harvey Darko. You know, they're some fire cats. Like really some ill spitters for real. So yeah, Jaw King. For sure.
Yeah, big up Jaw King the Divine, man.
Yeah,
I'll have to check his stuff out. I'm not super familiar.
He's fire.
Yeah.
If you like Doom, you'll like him.
Okay, fair enough. Sold. That wasn't hard. Last question for you, Macey. I know you're big into philosophy. What do you like the most? What aspect of philosophy interests you or intrigues you the most?
I don't even know like what aspects of philosophy there are.
Or maybe just what maybe I'll rephrase the question then. What about philosophy in general intrigues you?
Word. Honestly, it's just like real life deeper thinking, you know? I had this book I got called The Four Agreements, you know? And it's like really, really like crazy. And I feel like it helps us, you know, peel back the layers of like everyday stuff, you know? And just look at things for what they are sometimes, you know? Because when it comes to like certain things throughout life, there's things that's hidden in plain sight, like problems to certain solutions, right? It's hidden right there. It's like right in our face. But because like it's right there, we look everywhere else because we don't think it'd be there. So we miss it, you know? And I feel like philosophy oftentimes can help us find that. You know, it could lead us to that. Like that book, The Four Agreements, there's this thing where it's like, don't take anything that anybody says to you personally, right? And what they mean by that is like anything that is said to you by somebody is said to you because of them, because of their experiences. Even if it is about you, they're saying it from their perspective, how they seen you from their side. So they're saying it because of themselves, whether it's good or bad. So don't take anything personally, you know?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a great way to close out pop quiz.
Yeah.
Little
jewel, little
yeah,
gems.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Little
That's what we known to do around this way.
little food for the brain, food for thought. I like that.
Food for the soul.
Fellas, thank you so much for being here. This has been a really enlightening episode for me. I always enjoy having artists that are a little bit younger, up and coming on these episodes because, and I always said this when I was a teacher, and it still rings true today, that I always enjoyed learning as a teacher. I always enjoyed the process of learning. I felt like I always learned a lot from my students, especially my first few years teaching. I felt like I learned as much or even more than I taught them those years. And for me, it's always I always appreciate an opportunity to have that. And that's why I love this podcast so much, why I still do it. You know, as my life goes in many other different directions in many other ways, and which is all great as well. We evolve, we adapt, obviously, as people. But the reason why my journey in the creative space started with this podcast, and why I keep it alive because of these conversations like this. So I just want to thank you guys for that.
Thank you for having us, man. And to that, you know, I've been getting myself in the education field a little bit. I was just in Lowell with Paul Willis. We was teaching this class.
Shout out to Paul.
Yeah, shout out Paul Willis. And then like, you know, I also work with BTO. You know, I do production workshops over there too. So like I understand 100%. Like, yo, you learn just as much as you teach. And that's like that's how you know like you're doing a good job when you're learning as well.
Yeah, and it's funny how we're talking about class. I was actually had the opportunity to take terminologies class.
Oh yeah, big up term for that. Yeah,
like and just like him showing me like all his plaques from like the billboards and just showing his Apple iTunes like chart plaques, and I'm just like, yo, that's just like it brought like inspiration because you know I was able to have like a more deeper understanding to like who Term is as a person, you know, not just Term the artist, but you know, what makes him like human, you know, and I'm just like, damn, that was like an amazing experience for real. So big up Term for that. For sure.
Like anybody that teaches or gives back to community spaces or younger people, I think it's really important.
It's so important, you know,
especially these days, right?
You know, I came from that. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those spaces.
True.
So
yeah.
It's like,
I have a feeling as you get older too, it's only gonna grow for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I know it is.
I see it. Like I feel it. I see it for you. I think that's
for
no matter where the music takes you. I think that's gonna be a staple for you.
On dogs every time. Yeah. That's what it's all about. You know, you give and receive. You know, MaceyO, MaceyO that's how you spell my name. It means gift of God. You know what I'm saying? So You know,
well, you're living up to it.
It's in my nature. Thank you.
and you still got ways to go in it.
Exactly.
But at least the mindset's there to do it.
Yep.
So that's all that matters, right? Your mindset is very much in the space to do that going forward. So I love that. Can't let you go quite yet.
Yep.
Okay. So my last segment of the show, I like to end it with here. This is the dream song scenario. So you get a song. It's a MaceyOMaze song. And you can have any artists and producers on that song, dead or alive. I'll structure it for you. You get up to 2 producers, and you get up to 3 guest features. You don't have to use all of those.
Gotcha.
Right? But we have to cap it somewhere.
Yeah, no, I get that.
We can't be having, the longest 12-minute song ever, right? So we have to end it somewhere.
You said 3 features?
Up to 3 features.
Okay.
Up to 2 producers, dead or alive. Who would be on MaceyOMaze's dream song scenario?
All right, word. There's this producer from Mavs from back in the day. He passed away. His name is Dialect. Rest in peace. He used to produce for Concrete Click, which is like another dope local duo from Boston. They were from like Innerville Street around like Roxbury area. But they got this album called Lyrical Terrorism. He did a lot of the beats off there. So I'd probably say like I'd want something from there. And then for features, I definitely got to say Big L. That's my favorite rapper of all time. Capital Steez, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
You know what I'm saying? That's I look up to Capital Steez for sure. And then, Chris Rivers.
Yeah.
Chris Rivers is dope.
Very
fire. He's
underrated.
alive. He's kicking rhymes every day. He's fire.
Super fire.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Big Pun's son.
Big Pun's son.
Yeah.
Chris Rivers.
Nah, but he's dope, man. He's so fire. Like he got bars, man. Like
Puerto Rican too.
Okay.
I mean, obviously,
okay.
Big Pun. Come on.
Right.
Puerto Rican.
Well, hey, that sounds like a pretty great song to me. An old school classic with like children of the old school, some of these old school artists. Like, you know what I mean? You're really creating a golden era song of all the different eras.
Facts.
Almost. You know what I mean? Like getting Big Pun's kid on there, but also like pulling like a producer like Dialect into the mix. You're our student of the game, my friend.
Yeah.
Speaking of education, you are a student of the game, bar none. That is.
Thank you, man.
I'm
forever a student. The masters are the best students. So
amen to that, brother.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fantastic episode. Can't thank you both enough for being here.
Can't thank you enough for having us.
Of
man.
course. Oh, what a great way to end 2025.
Indeed.
You guys are my last episode of the year, and great way to end it. And I look forward to all the great conversations I will have in 2026. So thank you all for listening throughout the year, for all the years, whoever's been listening to these podcasts, or whether it be intermittently or consistently. I appreciate it so much. I know these guys and girls that come on these shows, this show, appreciate it as well. So thank you so much. And all that's left for you both to do until I do my final closing is just look at that left side camera, let the people know where they can find you, and if there's anyone else you'd like to shout out, now would be the time.
For sure. My name is MaceyOMaze. That's MaceyOMaze. You can find me everywhere. Instagram, YouTube, Tidal, Apple, all that. Right there. And shout out to EV. Ethereal Visions, you can find us at Ethereal Visions US, Instagram, and then Ethereal Visions everywhere, all caps, and big up my dog, Ajari, Ajary. He just dropped his self-titled project, Ajari. Fire project, dope. If y'all haven't heard it, tap in. You can find that everywhere as well, Tidal, Apple Music, YouTube, all that.
My name is Ty, You can find me on Instagram, TYBOOGIE_97. And, people that I would like to shout out, shout out to all my brothers that are doing it, Below the Hip Hop,
big up Below the Hip Hop.
Ill Reminisce, if you're wondering, these are like
Reminisce.
hip hop pages that we're cool with, and just like, bring value to everyone, My guy, Life of Tom, that just dropped a fire album with Plain Pat.
Oh, wow.
Driving Blind, amazing album. And shout out to my guys. Just shout out to EV, the brotherhood for real, just shout out to the whole Boston, New England scene, like, just really inspiring and just like really elevating every time. So forever, like, just shout out to the whole scene, New England as a whole, you know? So.
Well, and as always, if you're a fan of MaceyOMaze, Ty Boogie, Ethereal Visions, you can find us at Turntable Teachers on Instagram and TikTok. Hit up our website, turntableteachers.com, for all the latest. Of course, make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube if you're watching and listening on YouTube. Really helps us and supports the channel, but also supports the great artists and creatives that we get to talk to on the show.
Make sure y'all like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I like it. Subscribe works. You don't have to hit the you can hit the notification bell if you want to.
I'm saying hit the notification.
He's telling you to do it.
You know what I'm saying? Because this is a good podcast right here.
I appreciate that very much.
Of course.
Amazing podcast.
I will take the subscribe or the like. But hey, if you want to do all three, please be my guest. I'm not asking for that much. And as always, as I mentioned, where we record out of, if you're an artist, podcast, or content creator of any kind, and would like a space to record, make sure to check us out at aoastudios.org. Check out some of the new renovations we've done recently, actually, as well. Those will be out by the time this podcast hits. So make sure you check that out. And we are here for whatever you need, from videography to photography, recording, mixing, mastering, the works. So let us know what you need, and we are here for you. And once again, MaceyOMaze, Ty Boogie, thanks so much for being here, boys.
Course,
this has been a pleasure, and we'll see y'all in 2026. I'm Mike. That's Ty Boogie. That's MaceyOMaze with the Turntable Teachers, and class is officially dismissed.